Well, hello and welcome, Glasgow Rangers Nation, to match day news. Yes, it is match day. It is the semi-final of the Scottish Viaplay League Cup today, as Rangers take on Hearts at Hampden Park this afternoon for a place in the final where they will face, yes, that's right, they will face that lot from up the coast, the guys who like to be herded. It is Aberdeen. They won 1-0 in the other semi-final on Saturday. Bojan Miovski, a guy who's been in the press an awful lot recently for links with Rangers, thanks to Chris Boyd. There's no doubt that the North Macedonian striker is an exceptionally talented player. Apparently, it was a breakaway goal in a game that apparently Hibs deserved to win, but just could not take their chances. A Boyle goal was disallowed after a long VAR check, and Aberdeen, despite the sending off of Mackenzie, took advantage and won 1-0 to progress to the final. So if Rangers can beat Hearts, it looks like a revisit to the 80s of the Aberdeen Rangers Cup finals. Remember those days and that Davy Cooper goal? Remember those penalty shootouts, guys? It could come back. You never know. But hopefully, if we are going to get to the final, let's presume that we are Rangers after all, that is a game that we can easily put to bed and secure our first piece of silverware of the season, hopefully our first of 4 pieces of silverware this season. Guys, just a reminder, this is Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is your daily news channel, as well as obviously bringing you live podcasts, live game streams like the one later and the one on Thursday night. 2 live game streams coming up this week. We've got the Hearts game and the Sparta Prague game, so come and join us for that. We've also got the breaking team news, and we're going to have a lot of podcasts as well this week. So obviously keep your eyes open and your ears to the ground. And the best way to make sure you never miss out is to subscribe to the channel and obviously ring the notification bell. Well, let's obviously think about today's game and target today's game. Now, it's not so long since Rangers last faced Hearts. In fact, it was last Sunday in a very tough game and a battle of a game that Hearts led for a long time before Rangers fought back in the very last few minutes with a James Tavernier penalty and a goal from Danilo. And yes, it's no stranger that on the title slide for today's video, I had Danilo and Jack Butland, as both these guys have to have, in my opinion, big games today. Jack Butland has to be, as he's been all season, pretty much perfect at the back, and Danilo has to be the man to find the cutting edge up top. Now, Danilo looked very bright, he looked very sharp in the game, in the victory over Dundee. Now, he got a little bit of criticism for chances that he missed, but I think obviously we've got to extend to him that little bit of extra rope, because after all, he is just returning from injury, and match sharpness is something that takes time to come. But I'm sure today that, if he gets those chances, he can take those chances and help Rangers get to the final on the 17th of December against Aberdeen. Now, look, it is very much up in the air as to how Rangers will line up. Now, a lot of people have talked about the fact they would like to see Rangers line up exactly the same as they did against Dundee, which obviously would mean Todd Cantwell missing out. This would obviously as well mean that Sam Lammers and Scott Wright would both start. See, Sam Lammers scored and created a goal on Wednesday night, and was okay. It wasn't brilliant, wasn't terrible, it was just okay. Scott Wright did very well again. But, looking at this way, Todd Cantwell is probably our most influential player. Give him the freedom to roam, give him the freedom to go create. He can be exceptionally influential to this team. But do you then think, well, maybe he might have been more impactful for the last half an hour of a semi-final when the opposition are tiring? I don't know, guys. Let's hopefully by that last half an hour, the game is over anyway. Now, this is the team that I would name if I was picking the team. And again, like I always say, you might think, thank God you're not picking a team, Owen. This is how I would line up against Hearts on Sunday. So, no surprise with the goalkeeper. Obviously, Jack Butland in goal. A back 4 would be obviously James Tavernier, the captain. Connor Goldson. I think, no matter what you think of Tav and Connor, I don't think there's any chance of them being dropped. I don't think it's a situation where until the summer we're going to see any review of the security of position for James Tavernier as captain and as right back, and Connor Goldson in centre half. Now, alongside Connor Goldson, I would personally start Leon Balogun. I thought Leon was excellent against Dundee. I thought the way he brought the ball out from the back was excellent. I thought the way he linked, the way he went on those rampaging runs forward, that's how I would line up to give just that back 4 a bit more dynamism in a game where, Hearts are probably going to do that sit in, play the low block, rely on Shankland and Vargas to get up the top to create chances and try and snatch one. I think that's probably going to be the way they go about it. So look, I think Balogun could be a vital, cog in that defense to help step out and really start Rangers attacks. And as well, by him stepping out, he maybe can draw somebody out and help to create a bit of space for the midfield to create. For me, Ridvan Yilmaz has to start as left back. I think Ridvan is just better than Borna. I think he's better going forward. I think he's more attacking. I think that's what we need in this game. However, I do think that if he is fit, Clement will go with Borna Barisic due to his big match experience. With Nicholas Raskin still out, Ryan Jack and John Lundstrom, I think, should continue in the 2 role there, with obviously Lundstrom taking more responsibility for getting forward than Jack. Behind Danilo, who I would be my main striker, I just don't want to see Dessers start. Look, Dessers, when he was more effective at Feyenoord, was actually more effective when he came off the bench for the last 20, 30 minutes. That's when he scored the vast majority of his goals in Holland. So for me, let's try and redo that. Let's try and recapture that by giving him those last 20, 30 minutes to come on and score when teams are tiring. So go with Danilo up front. He's quicker, he's faster, he just looks a lot sharper. He seems to add a hell of a lot more to the team. Dynamism, movement, just so much more that he can offer so much more than Cyril Dessers can. I would start with Lammers towards the right and Seema towards the left. Seema being the natural out wide player, and Lammers been that inside forward that Clement sometimes favours. That would be the way I would line up with giving Cantwell that free role to go where he wants. Obviously, let me know what you think. How would you line up? How would your team differ from the one I have just revealed to you today? Now, look, it is going to be a tough game today because at the end of the day, they're going to sit in. They're going to make it hard for us. But we've got to get away from that. Like I've said, we've got to go in there, impose our style, play quickly, play the ball swiftly forward, not dilly-dally on the back, no silly sideways and backwards passing, so I don't want to see Borna Barisic. Get forward, get at them, move the ball forward with a bit of speed, a bit of purpose, like we did against Dundee, and really get after Hearts. I think that is the key to victory today. Now, on the subject of Borna Barisic, I know obviously this does not really to do with the game today. It's been rumoured in the press. Obviously, a number of teams have been linked with him, with taking him for free at the end of the season. Osijek, his boyhood club, apparently are anxious to resign him to help him finish his career in Croatia, but apparently also AS Roma and Unai Emery's Aston Villa are also currently interested in Borna Barisic. However, rumours persist that Rangers are very keen to tie Borna Barisic down to a new contract. The length of that contract has not been revealed, but according to that, a number of reports in this morning's media, sort of going against what other media reports have said about Rangers being willing to allow him to go. It is highly rumoured that Rangers want to retain the services of the big Croatian and that they want him to continue at left back and they want to give him a new contract. I mean, personally speaking, I think this would be a massive error for a player who is on the wrong side of 30. I think, when we're needing to rebuild, we're needing to restructure this defence. I just think going back to the past with the Borna Barisic is not the way forward. Is Ridvan the answer? No, probably not. Do we need a new left back? Yes, we probably do. Is Borna Barisic going to be that left back? No, he's not. I just think personally, Borna has been a good servant for this club. Done well in 55, for example, but it's time to say goodbye. Rangers have always been a bit guilty of hanging on to players a little bit too long. I really hope that this is not another example of that. I do think it is time to allow Borna Barisic to move on. And I really do hope that the stories of him getting a new deal are just media speculation. I think it would be a massive, massive error to give him a new contract. I mean, if you look at the players who are currently out of contract in the summer, you've got Leon Balogun, Borna Barisic, John Lundstrom, Ryan Jack, Kemar Roof, Abdullah Seema, who is on loan and is obviously slated to return to Brighton. Ross McCausland, Johnny Ifeko and Aaron Lyle are the youth players out of contract. Apparently, Rangers are going to start contract negotiations with Ross McCausland very soon. I think they need to follow suit with Johnny Ifeko, who I think is a very promising young defender and someone who I think can play a role for the team in the future, and Aaron Lyle as well. As for that list of more experienced players, look, I think at the end of the day, we need to perhaps clear some of those players to create some space in salary with the salaries. to use that money, therefore, to reinvest in helping Philippe Clement to bring in players that he wants, to redevelop his team, to restructure that back four, which I think is critical, to get some wingers in, which again is critical. I mean, I look at that list and I'll be absolutely honest with you, with the exception of Abdallah Sima, there is no one there that I am desperate to retain. No one there that I am desperate to get a new contract. John McLaughlin is not needed. We've got Robbie McCrory. We've got Kieran Wright. Yes, there's always a risk that Robbie McCrory might leave. Leon Balogun, I know he's been playing well recently, but he's not getting any younger. Barisic, you know my feelings on Barisic. Lundstrom, I just think it's time for us to move on from John Lundstrom. Let him go back south of the border. Let him sign for an English Championship club. I'm sure he'll be very successful. Ryan Jack. Look, Ryan's done okay, but it's his injury record that still persists. And I just think it's time again to cut our losses and move on. The same with Kemar Roof. We were paying this guy 26 grand a week. Again, I think it's time that we moved on and said goodbye to Kemar. Well, guys, let me know who you would have kept out of that list, who you would retain and why in the comments down below. But obviously, we are looking forward to today's game, guys. I'll be back later with the breaking team news and obviously back again with the live stream of the game. So please come and join me for that as we build up towards Rangers versus Hearts in the League Cup semi-final today. Thanks for watching the video, guys. And as always, please hit that sub. Help us to keep the channel growing. We're so close to going to 3,700. We do want to get to 4K sooner rather than later. So please keep hitting the sub, ringing the notification bell. And as always, on the way out, there's two things I need you to do for me. Number one, smash the like. And number two, please remember always, we are the people.